is the mage. Good work. And Amnesiac with his Druid, of course. And, you talk about the minion pressure and the fast pressure, something that Druid just doesn't deal with well. Outside of a big, like, for example, spell power swipe turn, which comes very late in the game most of the time, it's very difficult for the Druid to swing the board's favor back on their end. And Pavel getting off to a pretty quick start himself with the Mana Worm, Cult Sorcerer, and Sorcerer Apprentice options.
Yeah, I mean, it used to be even more true. I mean, this matchup, when you replace the Malygos Druid with the old school double combo mid-range Druid, Druid used to just play Wrath and Swipe, and that was it. That was their entire removal package. As time's gone on, they've been allowed to become more spell-heavy because of initially Yogg-Saron and now Malygos and then Arcane Giants and all this stuff, leveraging their ability to play spells. So they now have Feral Rages, they now have Living Roots, they now have a bunch of spell damage to pair with their removal as well.
They've always had Moonfire, but now they use it.
Exactly, yeah. So their ability to fight for the board and play the minion removal game is actually stronger than it used to be, but you're absolutely right in the fact that Tempo Mage can do it while swinging the board a lot easier. Amnesiac with the Druid is going to have to rely on a couple of very niche things to be able to do that. One is the Barongeddon that we see, and the other is the very, very cheap Arcane Giants.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And going to be Amnesiac's chances. Pavel is drawing very well here, getting off to a relatively quick opening. Has a tough choice now. Could go for the Arcane Intellect on curve, but as we said, you feel like minion pressure is just way more important at this moment in time versus Amnesiac.
Yeah, he is just trying to load up the board. It's pretty much what his hand says at this point, is just to try and be aggressive and push through damage. And Cult Sorcerer, I think, unappreciated in terms of how aggressive it can be. It almost like represents damage in the same way that pre-nerf Knife Juggler used to represent damage, where it's just a 3-2 that hits you pretty hard, and they also provide that +1 damage boost if you want to fire off some spells. So
yeah, and being the cheapest or one of the cheapest ways to combine with Arcane Blast is absolutely horrifying. The 2-drop and a 1-mana spell just kills off a 5-drop, and then obviously, as you said, the 3-2 just hits you in the face. So does develop quite a lot of tempo, and we see some of the cheaper and more recent spells to the Druid being used. The Moonfire combined with the Azure Drake clearing that open. Pavel not messing around. He locked the Frostbolt in before we even saw the card he drew.
And again, just minions, minions, minions. It's minions all the way down for Pavel in pretty much all of his decks, and the double Faceless Summoners here could be huge to try and push through. But Amnesiac, through that previous turn, managed to grip the board with Drake #1, Moonfire #2, and Drake #2 come together. And now, this is not really a board state you want to develop a Faceless Summoner into, but Pavel has no option. And this Drake could just start to snowball the game now for Amnesiac.
Yeah, this is a spell damage swipe available. Even he could just use the Wrath and not have to trade in the Azure Drake. So this is looking really good.
Could he? He could also just choose to trade the Azure Drake in exchange for picking up a Raven Idol card here, which is potentially what he's going for. Moonfire #3! They've been doing work for him so far.
Keep him coming. No, I actually do like holding on to the Wrath here because it's a clean trade, and the Azure Drake still has to be dealt with. And also, you just hold on to a Wrath. Next turn, it's going to help you continue to just beat down these minions that are in Pavel's deck. The deck lists are open, so each player knows exactly what's in their opponent's deck, knows Pavel plays a minion-heavy variant, and he's even more ready now with that second Wrath to help clear up some of this board.
Amnesiac just a little wince at that one, rolled back in his chair a little bit. The line of play he took where he made the little greedy line of going for the Raven Idol as well and using his Drake's health to trade, that opened him up to exactly that counter push from Pavel, Faceless Summoner #2 and Arcane Blast. But based on Pavel's play so far, his lack of removal for a Drake would have told Amnesiac a lot of information about his hand. As I said, Amnesiac, one of the best hand readers in the entirety of Hearthstone. So the information that he gleaned from that play led him to be a little bit wasteful with his Drake.
Yep. Okay, question.
Yes.
Do you ever just go face because you have Fireball and Paul in hand? Because, there are some good trades that Geddon can pick up, but bear in mind, Geddon is going to do damage to Amnesiac as well. And with that Violence Pole and even the Arcane Intellect, if he really wants to cycle further into the deck for more burn, this game could end very quickly.
In all seriousness, I think you do probably trade. You potentially make Rag a little too good by going face here. You also just have board dominance already, and as much as Firelands Portal is a burst card, it's also a great board dominance card. You can use that card to get the signal of both kinds of play to you in this situation, but also the Firelands Portal could just say to Pavel here that he can get away with going face, because even if in an emergency he needs to deal with the Baron Geddon next turn, he has that Firelands Portal to be able to do it. But all things considered, I like the trade. I don't think Pavel needs to be in a huge rush right now. He has the reach to get there eventually.
Yeah, and also this helps guard the Azure Drake, and the Azure Drake provides more damage for your spells as well. So the damage he missed out on this turn, he could probably gain at least some of that back through being able to burn heavily next turn. Ragnaros, yet again coming down for Amnesiac. Let's see if he can do some work this time, and killing off the Drake, probably the best target there.
Absolutely the best target. Pavel now can potentially take a risk with the Flame Waker. He would need one shot on the Ragnaros at least with the Fireball to then be able to ping it off and continue to push damage to face. Firelands Portal and trade is an alternative option as well. So Pavel now, this is that moment when every competitive Hearthstone player goes through, is like, do I bet the series on a Flame Waker right now? Do I take the consistent line? Do I take the high risk, high reward line? This is something that you have to be able to assess on the fly to be one of the strongest Hearthstone players.
Yeah, I think looking at it overall, the Flame Waker is riskier, and next turn he can Flame Waker Arcane Intellect, see what comes out, and then Fireball, worst case, for a hell of a lot more damage. But he's going to go for it. This could change everything. A bit of shake of the head of the Pavel shows that they go to face. Ragnaros lives. He is not dying this turn, and this additional 8 damage to help clear this board, or just push damage to face, could change everything for Amnesiac here.
Still, Pavel kept his composure. He finished the turn by pinging off the Rag anyway, which means he can ping it off next turn. It will run rampant for this one turn only, and obviously missing on the Ragnaros there is devastating for him. That could potentially, from his perspective, cost him so much damage in this situation. But the important thing is that he's still keeping calm, playing the cards correctly. Pinging off the Ragnaros is definitely a solid decision in that spot.
Yeah, and also regarding the ping, Amnesiac does not play Moonglade Portal, so one would have to come off a Raven Idol to be able to, you know, really punish just the ping there and he'll Rag back up, and just in general punish that turn from Pavel.
Yeah, but Amnesiac looks like he's potentially going to take a counter push here and try and force some of this damage through. He's actually going to gain the life with Feral Rage. Okay, so this runs the risk of leaving this Flame Waker up in play to potentially run Roughshot over Proceedings, but Rag behaves itself, takes care of the 2-4, and now this board state is looking
Pavel's just
huge.
like, I complete 2 of those. Got my second one already.
Paul going to come down on the 3-3 here, has the ping on the 8-1 Rag. So he... rough opportunity, but yeah, Bay Bodyguard is a reasonable outcome in that spot, so still demands an answer from Amnesiac, but Malygos is a solid answer, and now Amnesiac could have turned the corner in this game. Pavel with the Tempo Mage, they do not deal with a 4-12, no hard removal played in the deck, but I was just about to say, this is a decision that Pavel has made. Amnesiac does not play this card in his Mage. This could be huge for Pavel.
The perfect answer to the Malygos. This is going to blow Pavel, Amnesiac, sorry, out of the water. Oh, look at it. Oh, my God.
The heartbreak on the face from Amnesiac. I think he actually pulled at his own hair a little bit there. He was so frustrated, and
I don't blame him.
That is an absolute backbreaker for Amnesiac, but he, just like Pavel on the previous turn, he needs to make sure now, take a deep breath, refocus. That's in the past now. Continue to play this game. You are not out of this game. You are not out of this series. Continue to play correctly from here, and you can still come out of this game on top.
Yeah, refreshing yourself after a moment like that is incredibly difficult, but incredibly important for these players. And Amnesiac has a hell of a lot of experience in tournament play. Let's see how he chooses to progress here. He can clear the board, does go for the Emperor. And they get the reduction on the Windrunner, but to be honest, could have picked either at this point. Sylvanas is slightly more flexible based on the fact that Amnesiac isn't really going to have a big hand anytime soon to reduce.
Yeah, Sylvanas would be a little more flexible against, say, Firelands Portal number 2, because you can't just Firelands Portal with Sylvanas.
Oh my God!
What did I say?
We should just choose what cards are.
I mean, in the words of the late, great TJ Sanders, punished.
I mean, we would say Amnesiac needs to take a breath and recover from that polymorph. Can you recover from the second babbling book? Look how happy the book looks. I would want to cover that card on my screen if I was Amnesiac and just not want to look at it at all for the rest of this game.
That is a face that says, hey, buddy, I got you. Don't worry. But if Amnesiac needed cheering up, 0 mana Arcane Giant could very well do the job, because he can definitely get a strong board presence here.
The frustration is, though, the Conjurer is that, you know, never feels like much of a threat because of the 3 health, normally very easy to remove. But the 6 attack makes this Giant just very likely to die.
Yep.
There are so many spells left for Pavel that can just clear up that extra bit of damage. And Amnesiac knows Pavel's just sitting on 3 cards, 4th off the draw. So he's got plenty of juice to just carry on pushing and carry on with this pressure. And after those 2 books, I'm going to put 2 books in every mage deck I ever play and see if Pavel can teach me the way.
So Sylvanas is going to come down here, just going to try and trade 1-for-1 straight up with this Ethereal Conjurer, which I'm sure will happen. But Pavel's hand right now is just looking glorious in this situation. He can just trade and just play out the hand that he has.
Wants.
Right. Flame Waker, Arcane Intellect, see what he draws, but the Water Elemental, it's hard to imagine a stronger play than that on this turn. Can now follow it all up with Rag. Wow, I am never going to count Pavel out of a game and/or series of Hearthstone in my life.
No, incredible that this has come to this point. Pavel looking great. Amnesiac does get the Nourish, though.
Yep.
This is, again, as we said, just another opportunity for him to recover in this game that has gone disastrously wrong for him. He's managed to cycle into more cards.
That's huge.
He's got the Feral Rage. He can clear off the Flame Waker.
He didn't have an answer for it up until that point, so now he is able to create a swing on the board. Feral Rages down the Flame Waker, 0 mana Arcane Giant comes down.
So guess what is going to happen? The Arcane Giant is going to die like an insect.
Is it though?
I'm feeling it.
You confident? Are you that confident in your read?
Yep.
All right.
Just because I'm committed now, it's going to go face, I can tell.
Does clear out the minion. Amnesiac in a fantastic... Oh, Amnesiac in a terrible spot. Pavel in a fantastic
Definitely
spot.
not a fantastic spot from Amnesiac.
That was a 50-50, of course, but the face damage there, not irrelevant as well. You know, Pavel still has burn left in his deck that he can dig through. Both Feral Rages were used at that point, so pushing the damage to face with the Rag there would have been fine as well. And Pavel, the comeback kid from Russia, what a performance.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. You see him just sit up in his chair there. He's like, okay, I got this. And we're going to find out if he can manage this ultimate